Number 3. I'm a strong believer in listening to my gut. I always have been and always will be, since it's gotten me out of quite a few situations. One being my freshman year of high school. School had ended for the day, and since I was staying at my dad's house that week, I decided I would walk home. His house wasn't very far from my school. Everything was fine, until I turned down the street where there was a shortcut. It led straight into my neighborhood. As I was walking to the shortcut, a man drove by, just staring at me. My stomach dropped and turned. I took this as a note to walk a bit faster. By the time I got to my neighborhood, the man was circling all around the cul-de-sac, waiting for me. He had a smirk slowly creeping onto his face as I walked by his car. I tried to ignore him the best I could and just keep walking. He would drive past me and yell vulgar things at me. He kept turning around and driving past me again and again. As I turned down my street, he followed close behind. I saw him drive down my street and turn into someone's driveway and turn back around. I quickly rushed into my house and locked the door behind me. I then turned around to look in the peephole so I could see if he left. He didn't. The man pulled up into my driveway and got out of the car. Luckily, my neighbor, who is a family friend, was out in his garage. He came over yelling at the man, then stayed with me until my dad got home. A week later, my dad told me he saw the same man parked at the end of our street, waiting for me to come home from school. He charged over and threatened the man, and we haven't seen him since. But I'm still freaked out a bit every time I go to visit my dad now. It's safe to say I won't be walking home alone ever again. Number 2. So, this happened a few months ago, right when I was just married to my husband. I know it wasn't a product of wedding stress, since the people around me had been freaked out as well. My mother-in-law and I were out to town, shopping, and we stopped at a local Walmart on our way home. She had gone to look at the air conditioning units, and so I went to browse in the book section. I had just found something that caught my interest when I heard someone say, "Jessica!" It was in one of those, "Oh, there you are" tones of voices, like it was both a pleasure and a relief. Jessica isn't my name, but I looked up anyway since it was loud and basically right next to me. Standing a few feet away, her shopping cart between her and me, was a thin woman, maybe late 40s, long brown hair, and clothes nicer than what you would expect to see on someone who frequented Walmart. Her shopping cart was empty. She stood looking directly at me with a huge, manic, teeth-revealing grin, eyes bright. Because she's looking directly at me, and there was no one else in the aisle, I felt obligated to talk to her. I smile because she's smiling and tell her she's made a mistake. My name's not Jessica.
"There you are, sweetie. I was so worried about you,"
the woman continues and wheels up to me with exuberance, making me shrink back because I can already smell the crazy. A few people are passing our aisle at this time, and the woman's overly exaggerated tone gets their attention. Some heads snap to look at us, but no one stops. The woman, very warmly, as if I was her daughter, caresses my arm.
"I've been looking everywhere for you, honey. Let's go. Your dad has been waiting."
I'm the type of person who's anxious to please others, so I had already taken a step forward when she gently pressed my back so I would walk. Then my brain asked, "What the hell are you doing?" And I did a little scuttle forward.
"Jessica, honey, stop playing around and let's go."
The woman had never yet lost her crazed smile. This time, she grabbed my arm like a vice and started to pull. I pull my arm back, setting in my heels and putting my body in the motion. I tell her to leave me the hell alone or I'm going to find my husband. My husband isn't there, but she doesn't know that. The woman freezes and her face twitches.
"Dirty little bitch,"
she hissed and wheeled off down the aisle.
"Ungrateful whore."
I hear her shoot over her shoulder. Then, when she reaches the end,
"Okay, bye-bye, pumpkin. See you for dinner."
I wait and watch her turn the corner and disappear, and then go the opposite way. I manage to find my mother-in-law and tell her what had happened. She's a little disconcerted, but makes light of it to try and make me feel better. When we're in the checkout line, I'm scanning around nervously, trying to see if she's anywhere near me. I spot her several checkouts down, and she spotted me. She's still got her frenetic smile on, and she's wandering away with her empty shopping cart. She had a hot beverage in one hand, which she dropped and spilled on the ground. She never stopped to even look at it. She just breezed out of the store. One of the employees watched her do this and leave, but never said anything to her. In fact, the expression on the employee's face made it seem like she was a little afraid. Number 1. Hi there. I'd like to firstly say that this happened during a very difficult time in my life, so please try and keep an open mind. I was 23 years old at the time and had just quit my terrible job. My rent was due the next week and I had bills to pay and not enough time to come up with the money. I was sitting in bed one night when I came to the realization that I had no food, no gas in my car, nothing, and panic set in. So I made the decision to get myself dolled up and go into the local strip joint and ask for work. I am a pretty attractive girl, so I had no trouble securing a job. Not that I was proud of it, but at least I'd be able to feed myself and pay my bills. I had been working at the place for about 3 weeks when I met Dave. He was attractive and appeared to take interest in me straight away, but I treated him no different than any other client and pretended to be interested in his small talk in order to get paid. After that, Dave would show up on a regular basis and always ask for me, so the other girls started to refer to him as my regular and encourage me to keep him interested, as that was a good thing. One particular shift, Dave came in with a beautiful diamond necklace he had bought for me, and as much as I loved the necklace and didn't want to seem rude, something inside me told me not to accept the gift. He was upset about this, so I spent a few hours focusing my attention on him and reassuring him that I wanted to keep him as a client, but how that was too nice of a gift for now, since we were just getting to know each other. He seemed to understand and left when the club closed. I didn't see Dave for a while after that, until late one night after my shift at the club. I pulled into a gas station to fill up my car when I noticed a sketchy figure hanging around the entrance of the store. As I'm walking past, a hand grabs my arm, and as soon as I turn around, I notice it's Dave. Dave, what are you doing here? I saw you pull in and wanted to say hi. Oh, okay. Well, it's pretty late and I've got to go get some rest, but hope to see you around. I planned a surprise trip for us.
What? Excuse me?
And before I could say or do anything, I was being dragged into Dave's pickup truck. He grabbed me with such force that my bag hit the ground, so I had no cell phone or anything on me. He managed to get me into the passenger seat and was trying to tie my wrists together when it finally sunk in that he was going to hurt me, so I panicked. I kicked him in the legs multiple times while screaming my lungs out for help. I was screaming for what felt like half an hour while struggling with him when Dave punched me in the face. I got so angry at this, I started to scream even louder and was fighting for my life when the service clerk finally came out to see what all the fuss was about, and Dave backed up enough so I could kick my way out of the car. He ran to the driver's seat and drove off in a rush. After that night, I quit my job. I was able to move houses and got a new car, but I hear that even now, Dave still goes into that club, asking about me.